All right. What is this? Attempt number 4?
No, no, no.
I don't know. I'm Pat.
So what?
Jeff and I are struggling with OBS, man.
I fucking know who you are.
We know who you
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
bitch. All right, so yeah, now my piss is boiling a little bit. What's got your piss boiling this week, Jeff? Besides OBS.
My piss?
Or anything. Are you actually at a boilless week?
I don't know. Okay, I was more angry last week, but this week I think I'm. Am I back to normal? I don't know.
What is normal?
Shit, that's a good point. I don't know if angry is sort of
You have a baseline
sort
level
of
angry.
yeah. It's my problem cap. Yeah, I'm always angry. Yeah. Um. hmm.
I haven't seen much going on in the news. Like hurricane.
Yeah, that's
Everything
the
was
thing.
hurricane this week.
And obviously, I'm not mad at that. It's
No, it's
I
hurricane.
didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And-
see how many like doomsayers come out of the woodworks in 3 days and start scolding us about global warming again.
Oh, that's already happened.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's already happened. Yeah, I did see some of that, but then again, that was, they got kind of slapped down by experts while that was going on. I think fucking Don Lemon tried to tee off on that, which is what he does.
He's still got a job.
Yes, in the morning, and
Oh.
yeah, he got kicked off his real show. Now he's piloting the he's piloting the extra retard desk in the morning, where it's like we can't have you on when people watch, but we can't fire you.
Yeah, there would be a little bit of a shit show if they did that.
Yeah, so that's the
Well, you just gotta scooch him like early in the morning. Eventually, he'll be the 5 a.m. guy, and then nobody will know about him.
that's the thing is he still works. He's just
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So hurricane.
So I mean, Don Lemon used to. I mean, he used to be a starting pitcher, and
Right.
he's not a closer.
He's not even really on middle relief.
He's
anymore.
doing a little bit of middle relief, is what I would say.
He's kind of a specialist, man. They bring him in when they got a lefty. So
I suppose, yeah.
So
But his starting days are over. He's
right.
yeah.
Yeah. What is? I saw Chris Como actually got a new show. So
Doing what?
it's not on any of the major networks. It might even be just a YouTube thing. I just saw an ad for it. So somewhere on my doom scrolling the other day. And I was like, oh, that guy. Fuck. So maybe he can go shill for his brother a little bit more. Excuse me.
Oh shit! Like
I saw that Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton had a fucking show together.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So that I didn't dream that. That's actually real.
No. There's a little bit of.
Where were they on like The View or something?
Well, I've seen them. That's one of the things that I ended up. That's probably one of the things I worked on was
Oh, really?
where that was the infamous prison program that I saw them tootling around on.
Prison program.
Yeah, that's where the two of them were visiting the prison reform program, and
I haven't heard about this.
it was just part of that show, and that's where she.
So is this actual an above board like TV show that they're going to be doing?
I believe so. Yeah.
okay.
And this was where, at least at that point, it was a special when I worked on it, but. Yeah, this was.
Who the fuck's going to watch that?
Well, I can tell you what they're doing, but yeah, that was the one where it was so insulting. It was like Hillary Clinton was talking about black people like, oh, every zoo should have two of you. It's so just so
that's
demeaning.
so mean.
Yeah.
That is so mean.
No,
dude.
but that's the thing. She's just.
Yeah,
God,
I can totally see her coming out with her 2017 scolding voice. So
Yeah. It's just
Doing
it's
that.
so when you set your
Let's
expectations,
move on to the Asian section.
exactly, yeah. When you set your expectations so lowly
Right.
for any particular group and say
These are South Asians.
exactly, yeah,
There's a lot of them in Georgetown.
pretty much, yeah. That's a good point. It's
Right,
like they're indigenous to this region
Right.
because of easy access to bamboo, you know. Or
Oh my god.
swear to God, man, it's so insulting, right? And yeah, and her daughter's there, and she's starting to pick up on this, and I can tell that this is sort of a why don't we find a way to sort of shoehorn you into the political sphere for when it's your time?
Well, they're fucking desperate right now, man. Did you see Joe Brandon coming out the other day and 60 Minutes couldn't tack him down on whether or not he was going to run again?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, how much, so I don't watch that much right-wing stuff, okay? So I don't know what they were saying about it, but man, the fucking, like, the far left went bananas over that shit. So they love it. They absolutely love it. So,
Wait, they enjoy this, or
oh, fuck yeah. They want nothing more than to get rid of Joe Biden. So, you know, so they
okay,
can go
yeah.
plug in Kamala Harris or somebody. Actually, none of them like Kamala Harris, but they want Pete Buttigieg.
yeah,
Buttigieg,
booty chug.
whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, or they want Bernie to run again, or whatever. You know, it's just it was crazy. So, like, there are some lefty podcasts that I listen to, and they all lit up on the same topic in the same fucking day. So, exact same thing. And it was like, oh man, it tickled you guys just right. So, but I actually watched the interview. The interview wasn't that bad. So
That's rough.
it's a little rough, but he's not near as rough as people make him out to be. So, you know, like, I don't know. I'd be curious to see how much of it they cut. Probably quite a bit, but they do that anyway. But I don't think it's as rough as like all the people on the left were like pointing out every little tick and every little thing. It's like, man, you guys fucking sound like Hannity now. So, you know.
Yeah, I get it, but it's okay. The problem here is, you know, fuck Hannity. All right, I'm not.
Oh, I don't mind him, man.
No. I don't mean that just in
He's a
that way.
dumbass, but
I'm gonna throw him to the side for a second. I just like, I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just like, get that out of here for a second. The problem the right has with Joe Biden right now is they actually don't want to attack him on dementia, right?
yeah.
Because the better attack right now isn't to attack his incompetency,
Yeah.
right? You can point it out and say like, "Oh, that's funny" or whatever. But more so as to say, "All right, well then I'm going to get you on your dumbass policies," because you don't want to. Right now,
Well, that's how it should be done, you know. So,
bro, I got you.
I know,
but
man.
you know it's like making fun of your friends. You just find whatever angle that they're sensitive about, and you hit it hard.
Yeah.
Right. But the whole point on this here is there's shades of 1980 Reagan going on here, right? Where he got to run on the same campaign slogan twice. Were you better off than you were 4 years ago?
oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so right now what they can do is they can say, these are the levels that Donald Trump exited on.
Yeah.
This is what inflation is now. This is how much a loaf of bread costs. Who's in charge? The most popular president, quote unquote, in history.
Right.
Right? So,
Yeah, see that's like more effective, but you know, the Hannitys of the world can't fucking help themselves.
no, so of course there's a little bit of like, look who's urinating himself, you know, or whatever. It's
So
like,
look,
fuck.
who forgot his teeth today.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, God.
I don't know though, man. I mean, so like the inflation thing will be interesting. So because like, I mean, on a certain level, people would get fucking used to it. It's still a year and a half. I mean, a full year before like the entire thing actually starts kicking. You know, as far as the campaign goes. What do you give me that face? Of course they're gonna get used to it, man. So as long as it stops. All right, if it keeps going, then people won't get used to it. But I guarantee you, at some point in time, people are going to look at it. So bread's up to $5 a loaf. I don't know what fucking bread is because I make my own. So, you know, but anyway. So milk's like three. I think I paid $3.60 the other day for a gallon, or it's like maybe up to 3.80 for the Meadow Gold, the good stuff.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So it goes up to 4. I still pay 4. It stays at 4. In a year and a half, I'm just used for it paying 4. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
So,
you are.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The question is, it's not about us, okay? It's not about us who are kind of like, okay. It's about the people who are now actively suffering as a result of this.
How much of that's actually going on, though?
I don't know. But
Yeah,
okay,
I don't
so
know
look,
either,
there's-
man. I'm not entirely convinced that it's like this real like fucking now gas prices are.
Yeah, but
So
that's part of what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Is, all right, so there's two things that are sort of outside of our perspective on this. Is number
Sure.
one, we're not stretched so thin where the inflationary shit is
Yeah,
causing
yeah,
us to be like, I have to cut things out of my life,
Right.
or I just can't afford them,
Yeah.
right? And the other thing is we don't drive. So
No, that's true.
So if you're talking about somebody that's driving and has like 3 kids or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Those are the people that are gonna be like, fuck, man, yes, this extra 15% that is lopping out of me each month.
Yeah.
I really need it because the flip side would be, is your job paying you more?
Well, yeah, and so, well, a lot of them are. That's the thing, man.
Some of them are.
Some of them are paying like phenomenal. Like there was a study that came out, just like what was it? I saw this. I think it was. When did I see? I saw you last on Friday, so this must have been like Saturday. So that like in Colorado right now, basically you've got. I mean, if you're taking a job for less than like $22 an hour, it's because you're not fucking trying. So there are so many of them out there right now that it's just nuts. So like they said, well, that's your minimum wage. Fuck you, hey man. I remember when minimum wage was $3.85. So
Okay, it was 410 when I started, but
it was
yeah, I got you,
410. Yeah, it wasn't too long
Or
before
415, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I think yeah, it's 425, and then
Wait. When was the 212 and a half derived for
from 425.
425?
From 425, which was that I got that raise when I started working because I started working at 385. So yeah, and it was only like maybe a not even a year later we got that raise. And Bob told me at the time, "Congratulations, boy! It's the biggest raise you'll ever get." You know, so
Yeah, it was 515. That was
it was
the next
515.
step up.
Yeah, it was
so
515.
425.
but it stayed
to
at 212
515.
per tip.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because you know our company was run by the tribe.
And not even the good members. Not
No,
even,
yeah.
Not even the mentions.
Yeah, not even the mentions.
Like
So,
the ones where I feel like I hate this, man. I hate this thing where sometimes where the whole group gets the rap for what some people did.
yeah.
And there's that like little joke where they say, "Oh, you guys have been expelled for 129 countries, huh?" Right? Now, the thing is, obviously, I can't condone that, but there's a part of me that says, "Well, what'd you do?"
Right. Exactly.
So, like,
Why are you nervous when the cops pull you over? You know, it's like,
there's a part of me that's like, all right, well, obviously, I'm talking to you. You seem nice,
Right.
But clearly, there are people in your group that even you don't seem to like.
Yeah.
That they're saying that you gotta go.
Yeah.
Right. And how many times were you guys like, "Oh, fuck it, Dad, seriously, again with this shit?"
Yeah.
Right. So there is a piece where you can take a look at the folks that ran our company and
right. And decided to pay us $212 and a half.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So because you know it was still like I don't know okay under the increase in minimum wage in 1997.
Just fascinating, right? The
a long time ago.
version of you that says, "Why were you not sued into oblivion?"
Hey man, we were all making bank, so nobody cared about it. The
understand.
paycheck was just a big tip, so you know the rest of it was all tips. So, but I don't know.
Except when it wasn't.
Yeah,
And
except
then-
for when it
yeah.
was, and then it was time to quit the job. So, you know, because business was so bad. But like I don't know, we're gonna have to see. So I haven't seen anything from Blythe in a little while. I've been waiting to get his take on what the Fed's been doing. So
I don't know. I don't know.
either. Yeah.
I don't. I keep seeing it, but I have no idea what the actual effect is going to be.
I don't either. Yeah. No, I mean, but there's like certain elements of it where, like, I was looking at actually changing jobs. So, and I would make a lot more than I make right now just by switching to a different organization. So it's crazy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I know, man. So it was like, well, wait a minute. They got me locked in. I'm a real cheap date. I don't mind being a cheap date because it makes my shit stable, you know?
But does it provide you a certain amount of autonomy that you've come to
It does.
value or no?
Yeah, but I don't think I can. I think I could find that somewhere else too now at this point in time. So I don't know. But we're just, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. The minute that I'm at the bar and I hear people bitching about like the fact that they can't afford to put gas in their brand new $80,000 truck because they just got their third raise this year.
Sure.
Okay, then it'll start to trip off my radar a little bit more than it is right now. So, but like the fact that like, I mean, I see people do like absolutely retarded things financially, you know, and then complain about like a $2 rise in their fucking loaf of bread. It's like, why the fuck you leasing a $65,000 truck, bro?
I got you. No. This is you're doing it again. You're doing it again. This is the whole. My expectations of students are so high because I went to honors classes. Right? Your cohort that you hang out with, right, is in that group. Okay. What I'm telling you here is so. Here's like I told you guys about this the other day, and both of you guys were like, "Huh? What is this thing?" Where I was telling you guys about like quad pay and Affirm and all these other things, right?
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Right, you hadn't. What you guys don't know is that there are tons of Americans who are doing that to buy groceries. They have to break their grocery bill into 4 payments.
So I need to know, like, okay, before I like, you know, glom onto that as like evidence that a lot of Americans are hurting. I need to know, like, okay, on average, what percentage of people in the United States are doing that? Because, okay, so here's my thing is like, I think that there's actually a band of people out there. So if you take the 5 quintiles in terms of income, it's just that second quintile that's really hurting. If you're in 3, 4, 5, you're fine. If you're in number 1, you're fine. Okay, so even if you're in the poorest bracket, you're okay because you got Medicaid. Okay, so you might have some kind of disability, Social Security, something like that. You got BAH, housing assistance, whatever. Okay, something like that. So it's that second one that has to kind of float themselves out there in some respects. But understand that second one is no bigger than the other 3 and the other 4. It's not a bigger slice of the pie in terms of the number of people in it.
Okay, but here's the problem, man. All right, that's 5 quintiles, right? For how many people in this country?
Well, 330 million.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're talking about a full quintile out of 330 million
so it'd be what, like 60 million?
That's a ton of people.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like it is, but I mean, is it enough to actually flip an election or drive a policy?
Of course it is.
Well, these aren't the people who fucking vote. These are the people who rarely vote. So
the thing is, you don't need that many of them to come out and vote because they don't normally vote. These are people that you've written off as like not voting. Right. Look, man, when it comes down to it, you and I both know elections come down to the results in like 5 states, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's small amounts of voters in those 5 states, right? So if you're talking about people like fucking the past 4 years, right? I have been having to beg, borrow, and steal just to have food, right? You're talking about things that, would that get somebody to vote? Yes.
Maybe. So
what do you mean maybe?
I think like so first of all, it might compel them to vote, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to vote in one direction or the other. So I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Is if they weren't voting before, it's still a vote. You mobilize that voter.
But if that mobilizes one person in Oklahoma and another person in like fucking New Jersey, it's the same thing. So you know. I mean,
this is bizarre, man. All right, so man. No. So, what I'm saying here is like 1 second ago, right? Well, not exactly, but you're like, all right, I am basing my perceptions on this based off of what my semi-wealthy cohorts are discussing at the bar I go to.
Well, yeah.
Now I'm saying like, all right, so here's data. I can't pull it up for you. This was something I read the other day where you guys didn't even know about these kind of programs, and then I'm telling you that there's a significant amount of people putting these on food on 4 payments. Yeah. Right? You know, like, I'd have to see the numbers. You would need that
Yeah.
to override your anecdotal evidence of the rich cohort that you hang out with.
Yeah, sure.
What?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Well, I mean, because if you're going to push me out of my own experience bubble, okay, I got to have something else to glom onto. So, I mean, that's the whole point behind gathering evidence like that.
Well,
Just to actually get away from your own, like, perceptions and your own, like, fucking, whatever. Like, because, yeah, I go to the bar tomorrow and, I hear somebody else tell me about their $65,000 fucking truck that they just...
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you're... The whole thing is...
I'm not saying either one of those is accurate. I'm just saying that's how I see it. Those are two fucking different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is your preconception, right, is based against an already tilted cohort.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what you're doing is you're extrapolating, well, the rest of the country.
So you're telling
must
me
be
that I
like
should
that.
actually get away from my own based experience based upon just like hearsay experience that you're giving me, okay? So
We have a rule. We don't Google shit during the thing.
that's
We
true.
try not to do this. Otherwise,
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
fuck you. No. No. Because this is what's really good for broadcasting. No, go ahead and vamp for a second. And I'll go find you data.
what
Okay.
does vamp mean?
Like tell jokes and like warm up the
I
audience.
don't have any jokes.
No, you're gonna have to. So like vamp and like.
So what are you Googling? Tell me what you're looking for.
I'm looking at patiswrong.com. Okay, that's
That's a well-known site.
Yeah.
It's got like more sponsors than this one does.
No, so you gotta keep the audience busy.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, impromptu is not really my thing.
Yeah, make
So,
it your
improv.
thing. No, this is why we don't Google during the thing, right?
Okay.
So no, that's fine. It's fine.
So I was just trying to logically work my way through that. So without any evidence.
Okay.
So basically establishing precedents and like conditionals based upon like what you can actually figure out without Googling something.
Okay. So,
All right, what do you got?
all right.
Did I vamp enough?
You're supposed to like tell more jokes.
I don't have any easy jokes,
Did-
man. I don't have any jokes that won't get me canceled.
Just leave out the dirty
I
parts. man.
can't.
Okay. No.
They're
Okay.
gonna know
So-
what they are.
All right, now here you go. Okay, so a survey of the company last month found that 61% of consumers nationally have used buy now, pay later apps for groceries.
Okay.
61%.
61%.
Okay.
So
Now this is up from 44% in September. Okay.
okay.
So it was already there, but it's up. Okay. With let's see. And half of those shoppers have also said they relied more often on such services in the past 6 months, with 89% of users paying off 1 to 3 purchases at a time.
89% of the people in the United States are actually using that fucking service.
Now, this was the survey group. So
Oh, okay.
what that means, okay, this was... this is just the first thing I grabbed off of NBC, so this isn't fucking
Oh.
Stormfront or some bullshit. You just like
It's NBC.
cite your source.
It's kind of like, well, this obviously means that all the fucking truckers need to unionize.
Oh, NBC doesn't care about truckers. NBC sees truckers as the enemy, man.
Oh, yeah. No, they did beg on railroad guys pretty hard. So
No, they see truckers as the enemy. They're MAGA people.
oh,
But anyway, yeah. So
I don't think there's that many of them. So-
that's what I'm saying. Is like, yes, I understand, and I understand that you want to use this as evidentiary stuff. But I'm telling you, like, when you're saying that it's just like 1 quintile that's getting fucked up, right?
yeah.
Or anything like that. Well, if that many people are using this just to buy
Well, I might be
food,
wrong about that, though.
Right.
So,
that means people are fucking hurting, and that's the kind of stuff that
Yeah.
will say.
but
They
see,
won't be like, "Well, I'm just used to this. This is the new America." I
yeah,
live
but the
in."
other thing is that you're flipping this on me and saying that, like, oh, okay,
course
I
I
hang out with a bunch of bougie guys, and I don't. All right, so I hang out with guys who lay tile. I hang out with guys who do floors. I hang out with people who do IT in the military, and those guys are all bougie. Okay, but then there's a whole bunch of them that are just like bartenders. They're not bougie. So, I mean, yeah, not in that place. So, or even servers. I know teachers out there too. They're not bougie. So they're not married to fucking, '06 is in the military, at least not that I know.
Well, that's my question. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know those folks.
Right, I get you. So, but like, even like, so, yeah, okay, let me not go too far with the anecdotal evidence here, but like, even folks that I work with, so a full, like, half of the people that I work with are, like, they make less than I do. And I make very little compared to most people. All right. And so, and they're still like, oh man, I got a great COLA increase this year. So, and stuff like that, I mean, like around here, it's probably not very good to take a look at this place around here, because if you own a house around here, you made a buckload of money the last 3 years. So, it's just locked up in your real estate.
Right.
So I've seen a lot of people, maybe they're buying them $70,000 trucks because they say, well, now's a good time to get a HELOC. You never know. So I don't know though, man. So, but like the narrative that like inflation is going to be the harpoon that takes down Joe Biden, I'm just not fully buying it, man. It's going to be another fuck up that comes up in the next year and a half or something like that that's really going to do it. Because this harpoon, even though it stabs right now, it's not going to go deep enough to actually do that. So, that's kind of my point on that one. It's going to take something else, man. So, and trust me, he's got a whole nother year and a half to find something. He's going to find it, man. And that's why I'm thinking he's pretty like straight up about it. Like I'm actually like 50-50 on whether or not he's going to run now. So he might just say, you know what? I killed the white whales. I'm done.
But, like, all right, so this is the when you're saying these harpoons, right? Yeah. This is the thing, is the harpoons that have been levied we've moved the window, okay? So the last guy in charge sort of helped us move the window in terms of, all right, the house that Bill Clinton built, okay, that window in terms of acceptability of behavior has been shifting over significantly, okay, over the past few years in terms of like, all right, so the whole argument back then was like, who cares what he was getting his, who was sucking his dick, man? I think he was a good president. I'm like, all right, I gotcha, but you have to, like, for me personally, I'm like, I don't care. I imagine all of you guys are doing
and understand that was in his second term. That was not in his first term.
Totally understand, right? Not that I think that matters, but the whole point for me is, well, where do you stand on the issue of whether he was lying about it or not? And if your argument is, well, I don't care that he had that done versus I don't care that he lied, well, we saw how that played out.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And so at this point, it's the argument here is like, do you care what they do, or do you care that they're covering it up, right? Or both? Does it even matter?
I don't think it matters, man. I think really it comes down to it is like, can you rally enough dudes on your team to flip it over?
That's what I'm saying.
That's all it fucking is anymore.
You're saying, like, what's the harpoon that's going to take somebody down? Well, if behavioral things, all right, look, the crap that came out of Hunter Biden's laptop, okay,
I don't think it's
that would have sunk any president prior to Bill Clinton.
It would have sunk. Oh, it would have sunk Clinton.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Because, again, the whole argument there was...
Would it have sunk Bush? Yes. So...
Junior or senior?
Junior. It would have sunk him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but that's...
Barack Obama had a little bit of armor, so he might have been... If Donald Trump had done that, he would have not made it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's I got you, man.
So the harpoons are out there. What it comes down to is, all right, so if you're unsinkable based off of actions, basically like this, then ultimately it's going to come down to, am I doing better than I was 4 years ago? The answer for a lot of people is going to be, fuck no.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, how many more people? Is it going to be enough to actually flip that over? So the thing that I think, like, and I don't know, man, it's still 2 years out, so who the fuck knows?
Of course, yeah.
But, like, the only thing that I think will get Joe Biden to run again is if Donald Trump chooses to run. So if he does not choose to run, I bet you Joe Biden will not run. So, and then at that point in time, it's anybody's race. So, well, actually, no, it's the Republicans to lose at that point in time. So, I think it's all on red team here to, like, figure out who they're going to put up. If they put up not Trump, they fucking win, no matter who the Democrats put up. So
don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
They're not Trump polls.
Yeah.
Are getting crushed by Trump.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
utterly destroyed. And it's not to say that they don't like other people.
Yeah,
but
see, like, the thing about it is if they put up Trump again, that's going to bring out all the blue loonies again. So, and there's a lot of them. So that's the thing. So, last election, great, huge turnout. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe some of them will feel like worse off, but maybe others will be like, man, I'm going to be even more fucking worse off if that guy wins. So, I got it, man. But like policy-wise, so like the thing that's interesting between the difference between Trump and Joe Biden in terms of policy is like nothing. It's so thin. Okay, you can point to the border. Who the fuck cares about the border? Okay, why?
What do you mean, why?
What does it do? I mean, okay, fine. Let people in and take those fucking $3 an hour jobs. There goes inflation right there. So if you want to fix it, that's how you fix inflation, bro, because all the growth in inflation is in labor supply. So that's where all of it is.
Okay, there's two particular problems with that. Okay. And I'm not going to talk about that just from an inflationary point, although, I understand what you're saying, and I think that could be something that assists it, but that the inflationary thing right now is a far more fundamental problem than just that. Right.
Well, it's labor. So labor is what's causing the inflation. So,
well, that's part of it.
I would say that's the majority of it.
We had the same number of workers 4 years ago.
No, we don't. We've lost a lot of them over the last 4 years.
To what?
Retirements. Fuck, there's been a shitload of them, dude.
Yeah. Okay, but it's so significantly enough that. Okay.
You're taking the largest generation in American history. They're rapidly retiring and you're replacing it with the smallest one ever. That's exactly what happens. So, yeah.
Okay.
There are way more retirees every single year now than there are high school graduates. Way more.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of being...
This is why my students are graduating into $100,000 a year jobs.
This would be my thing.
It's nuts.
So you're telling me that these high-profile, waiting on them forever type of jobs are coming open with that kind of supply?
Fuck yeah, they are.
All right. All right. Now, again, I'm not basing this information off of Pat's Aristocrat Club. So I haven't read a single thing about that, and that's fine. All right. But I'm just telling you that I have not heard one iota of this being the cause. As a matter of fact, all I'm seeing here is that would actually exacerbate the problem rather than solve it.
Exacerbate what problem? Inflation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. Yeah.
No, increasing immigration would actually exacerbate the problem, not solve it.
How so? Give me your logic on that one, because that one.
It's not my logic. This was something I watched the other
me.
day. This was something I saw the other day, but essentially it was based off of a person coming in and doing essentially like what you're talking about, doing a $3 job.
Well,
right?
they do minimum wage job. So I'm sure.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
$3, whatever, right?
Well, I do not want people coming into the country and working under the table. Fuck that. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. But here's your green card. Come on in, bust tables. So that would actually help inflation.
Okay, but that's different. That's not what the current illegal immigration situation is.
So I don't really know that much about what's going on with that. So, like, the whole thing is they're bringing people over. Are they giving them work permits? So
not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole sanctuary program.
If you do that shit, you're going to get in trouble.
What?
Like,
well, if you give them a green card.
Well, you're talking about if you're going to like sanctuary places, right?
Yeah. Do you get a green card if you go to one of those?
There's no way.
Well, I don't.
Because that would be the state issuing, or the state issuing those over the federal government.
Oh, I thought it was the federal government that opened the sanctuary things.
How the fuck can they do that?
Well, I don't
Their
know.
official policy on this is that it's illegal.
Yeah, but what's the whole thing about like refugee status and stuff like that, where you're fleeing the violence in Mexico and stuff, and so asylum, you can apply for asylum.
Yeah, apply for asylum,
but I thought the way that the policy, now I might be fucked up on this, but I thought the way the policy was working was that basically you apply for asylum. As long as you apply for asylum, all right, you're allowed to stay in the United States until your fucking case gets adjudicated or whatever. And so there's like a year-long backlog on that, or 2 years, or whatever.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Do you get a green card in the meantime?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, okay, so the person that I know that was waiting on her asylum stuff because of the Venezuela situation, right? She did not have a green card.
She get authorization to remain, so like residency or.
So the way that this worked out was she ended up basically in one of those quote unquote detention centers in Texas for about a month.
Okay.
Then she was able to move in with her family.
Okay.
But all she had basically was like the asylum packet, right? She filled out the paperwork. No green card in the meantime, right? But that's the thing is...
So if you don't have a green card, you can't work.
Well, she could.
Yeah, because she
was working with her family, right?
So they're doing the pay you under the table thing. I get it.
Because
that's something that I am opposed to. I don't think people should be able to.
The other work that she was doing before then was, guess what? House cleaning.
Yeah, which is also the same way.
Right.
So, housekeeping. So,
right.
It's like, here's your $20. Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that she's in the position where her family was able to take care of her.
Sure. See, that's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right? Because they had previously come here via the asylum program before. Yeah. The difference was they applied for it while they were still in Venezuela.
Yeah,
right?
That's different.
Now, the other part of this was because she had family that was here to take care of her, that eased the burden quite a bit. However...
Made it easier for them to say yes.
Well, not just say yes, but also like, all right, we're not just dumping you in here, right?
Right.
Let's flip it around for a second, okay? You're coming here, you don't have family here.
Yeah,
you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You're here with two people or your whole family.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is where does this really fix inflation? Well, no, because every benefit that you get from lowered wages is offset by the cost that you derive because of what it takes to take care of you.
Well, but who does that? If you don't have authorization to stay in the United States, you're not getting an EBT card. So...
Right. So the cost of basically housing an illegal immigrant, that shit doesn't happen just for nothing.
Well, who pays that?
Well, like in New York City, they're putting people in hotels.
Yeah. But is it like a permanent solution or...
Shit, no, that's not a permanent solution.
Well, no, I mean, as far as the states, as far as the city's concerned, it's like, okay, we just have this as a budgetary item that we do. Yeah, I don't fucking know either.
But again, here's the point, is that doesn't come from nowhere. And so when you're asking if this is an inflationary fix, it can't be because that means that this is offset by this. And if this, if this number...
Okay, so let me back up. Let me say legal immigration would be an inflationary fix.
Hell yes.
Yeah, okay.
Which has always been my argument.
Well, and that's what I would like to see, but I don't know. I don't even know if you can actually like flip that over too much because the wage growth isn't really necessarily just in the bottom tier of the wages. So there's this huge chunk of like not quite upper middle class, but like solid middle class jobs where wage growth is enormous right now. So
you'd still call it skilled labor, though, wouldn't you?
I don't know. So it's like,
I don't know really how you define that anymore.
So like I don't even know, but there's like these are the jobs that my students are getting now that they wouldn't be able to get 5 years ago. So where you're jumping into a company and you're at 6 digits or you're going to go into a training program, so you start out at 75, but your first bump is like a 20 grand bump after you get past your derail or something. It's crazy. So, and everybody's like just absolutely clamoring for candidates on this stuff. I get more hits on LinkedIn now about like, hey, do you have anybody who can do blah, blah, blah than I've ever had before. So...
Obviously, I'm not getting any kind of that stuff, but that's your market that you're going into.
Well,
right?
I mean, they're looking for people who are fresh off the street, who are absolutely trainable, the last thing they want to do is hire someone who's like me, who's been in the workforce for 25 years. They got a house break me again, man. So no company wants to do that.
You and I have been fucking, we just, like, our owners have been like, yep, that's just his spot on the rug.
Yeah,
that's where he goes.
Yeah, you turn him loose in this place, he's going to find a spot that
I know. Again, it's like they're talking about. It's like we're zoo animals. It's like, but the thing is, he doesn't go where he eats.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You got to separate his food and his water. So
that's a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, you can lock down 2 corners of the house, but he's going to pick one of the other ones.
Don't eat where you eat. I'm so proud of you. Haven't you come a long way? Oh, it takes a village. Yeah, I got it. No, I understand.
You
So,
dare try and cage me, man.
look, man, you don't cage a tiger. You just pet it. You appreciate how pretty it is,
right?
but you don't put it in a cage,
Right.
right?
So
We are the most like fucking Zeta tigers on the planet.
Zeta?
Like, yeah, like
What is
last,
Zeta?
not alpha, not beta,
Oh.
not gamma. We're the fucking lowest rung
Yeah.
of males when it comes to like dominance.
Yeah. I was joking with a coworker about that the other day. We've actually got quite a bit of turmoil that's going on at work.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so there are a few alphas out there who are like walrusing into each other at this point in time. And
The least of fearsome animals.
the least of fearsome animals.
Yeah.
So, well, except when they fight, So, and
Yeah.
I just remember,
okay,
like someone was saying, "Man, why are you so chill about this?" I know exactly who it was. Well, yeah, it's like you seem really laid back about this. I'm laid back about everything, man. So you know, so the old thing didn't used to be alpha and beta. So it used to be A type and B type, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
That comes from cyclit. So
It does, and it
Yeah.
does. I mean, that's the thing is it's in recent years where they've tried to apply that animal kingdom part of it
Yeah.
to,
yeah. But the old thing was A type and B type. So you're a type A or a type B.
Yeah.
So basically, either like so.
Do you prag or do you get pragged?
No, it wasn't that. It was like how much anxiety you actually have about something.
I know.
So
It's not all prison sex.
no, it's not all about prison sex. So I was just joking with this guy, and he was like, "Man, you really laid back, kind of about this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm a type B on a busy day." So so, it's like most days I wake up at about a C minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually has taken on kind of a different meaning now. I didn't know it had gotten all the way down to Z.
No, I mean that's obviously for effect because in theory, you're only supposed to have the alpha male and the beta males, right?
Right.
In theory.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even know if that actually applies to women now.
Oh, probably.
I don't know. Well, keep in mind, of course, I guess the problem I had with this was that A-type was a descriptor for men. A-type was a pejorative for women.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully that's one of the reasons why I think it was gone. It's like, oh, she's a real A-type personality. It's like, oh, that's weird. Because, like, you said that was in a good way about fucking Mark Cuban, but,
Yeah. Not Barbara.
instead you turn around, it's like, oh, what, that bitch is crazy because she's saying
Right.
that women should be able to vote?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That one had a different gender connotation probably over the last
hell
10
yeah.
years. After the last 10
Yeah.
years, it's kind of changed. So,
And I know a lot of, especially this alpha beta shit within like guys has to do with it's funny how much
it's fucking internet culture.
well, it's funny how much vernacular has come out from
4chan.
this isn't even a chance. This comes from like the bodybuilding forums.
Yeah, you're right.
It does.
I remember that.
Yeah. That's
So,
look, man, there's a reason that
spend your health. What was it?
you spend your health for wealth and then
Scrimp and scour and save. Then
Yeah.
spend your health and search, or spend your wealth and search of health, but all you get's the grave.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, because a lot of this too is all right,
I
so
remember when that came out.
well, this is the wacky thing is so you're taking this from somebody that's spent years and years of his life delving the deep recesses of English literature. Right?
Sure.
So all the way back to Shakespeare's time and before, there's this concept, this joke going on about wearing the horns, about cuckolding.
Right. Yeah.
And
It goes back to Herodotus.
oh
man,
yeah. But it was something that came up out of like classic literature and shit. And then suddenly it finds its way.
Oh, the cuck meme?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. It finds its way back in through via like bodybuilding forums because like, well, you're either the alpha male
Yeah.
or you're a beta ass cuck.
Right. Yeah. So you're the third person in the porn video. So who's sitting on the couch.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. This movie's not about you.
No, it's not about you. Yeah. Yeah.
You are not the main character in this. Yeah. So it's weird that. So when I started seeing this pop up again, I was like, "Oh, y'all reading Shakespeare?" I was like,
Yeah.
"No."
No. No, you're not. So, yeah, that word did come back out of nowhere, man.
Yeah.
I remember, like, in every class where you took Shakespeare, they would have to spend like a yeah, you'd have a 5-minute primer about this old English term that was just like, I mean, and you're right, it just came back out of the internet out of nowhere, and you're right, it did come out of gym culture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because the goofy thing was they always have to break this down. They say,
Sure.
So he's going to make a reference to this person
Right.
wearing the horns.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, on these roosters, right? On these, it's like, when they would do this, when they would perform this procedure, they would also cut off the back parts and put them on the...
Yeah.
It's like, and this actual animal has now been cuckolded.
Right.
Right? And so, yeah, people forget that part. But yeah, that was the whole thing about, like, wearing the horns. And then, so, yeah, like, overnight, like, y'all know this word? It's like...
I remember that.
Nobody knows this word.
That's got to be like 2014 or something. 2012-ish. There's so much bad shit that came out from that era right there that just got, like, completely fucking dialed up to 11 after 2016. So, yeah. I saw an Adult Swim thing. It was a meme the other day that actually did the broken timeline with 2 alternate timelines after 2016. Okay, and one of them's like all the things that have actually happened, like COVID and, you know, fucking like hurricane, blah blah blah, whatever. And then it had all these like future ones that were like, you know, Portal to Phobos opens in 2029, you know, and stuff. You know? So, and then on the other, and like it's like 2045, President Musk bans GTA 6. You know, so it's just all this bad shit. And then on the top line, it's all this good shit, like, you know, invented fusion, you know, travel to Mars, you know, all this cool stuff. You know, registration for cancer vaccine begins. Yeah. So, and you know what 2016 was?
Well, I'm going to presume it's...
This is the joke.
What's that?
I know what you're thinking it is, but it was Harambe.
See, that's funny.
That's a pretty good joke. Yeah,
that's funny.
Pretty good joke. So, because, yeah, you know, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Well, no, and this is... So this is... I remember... I can't remember the specific episode, but it was time to tee off on Family Guy. And the thing is, what you're talking about right there is a Family Guy joke.
Yeah,
where they're like, oh, okay, well, so if we go back to this time and, you know, if Al Gore wins the election in 2000, we've converted to pure energy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You
Brian gives us his slideshow explainer. So thanks, dude.
It's like, oh, right. You and I have talked about the... You know, this is what you were grumpy about. That's right, because you'd been turned on to some of my grumpy sources was... when it comes to no subtlety in writing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you decide to put your shitty opinions out there on Front Street. And keep in mind, when I say shitty opinions, every single one of us is filled with them, right?
Oh, sure. We just spent 30 minutes arguing about some of them.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
right?
I think we're adult enough to admit it, though.
Absolutely. Guys, like Pat up in the comments, you know, because
Fire back at Jeff, because he's obviously incorrect.
No, fucking light Pat up, because I know that anybody listening to this is taking my side right now. But anyway,
yeah, go ahead and chime in about fucking Beyonce. Who was it?
Adele.
Yeah, while you're at it. So if you're on Team Jeff as far as Adele goes, I don't want you on my fucking team. But
yeah, that was the thing is once you allow your shitty opinions to actually drive the story instead of the story being a place where every now and then you slip in your shitty opinions.
So you're talking about movies and stuff.
Yes.
I know I was salty about actual journalisterism. So
Journalisterism?
I don't
No, that works for me. You just tell me what that is.
So that's apparently, when you're a journalist, and so you have to have an ism, but it's not journalism because you don't do that anymore. I think I actually got that from Foster's. I think Blue said that at one point.
Journalisterism?
Journalisterism. So I'm a journalisterist. I can't remember what it was.
Well, see, the funny thing is when you say that, it conjures a very specific kind of journalist.
Oh, with the hat, with the press thing? So, yeah.
No. Okay, that would be a journalist.
Right, that's an actual journalist.
Right,
yeah.
Right, yeah. He got a pencil.
He had a pencil.
Yeah.
He got to lick it.
He sure did.
Yeah, no, that's where I saw that. But, the more that, I plumb the depths of that YouTube channel. So, and that dude does get fucking salty sometimes, man.
He's grumpy as shit.
Well, there's a couple times where it's like, that's a little bit over the line, bro. Yeah. And then there's other times.
The dude and I disagree on as many things as we agree upon.
I would say I agree with him a little bit more than I disagree with him on most things. So, but, it's taught me to kind of look at, okay, because he had this really good video on actually breaking down a story. So that was actually thank you for that, because I hadn't really thought about that, where he said theme was basically bullshit and you could turn it into whatever you wanted it. So, and I was like, yeah, that's a good point, actually. So, and he had 3 movies that he lined up. They're all different levels of quality and they all have the same themes in them. Okay, but he says this obviously opens this one up for terrible criticism, okay, because it's not at the same level of quality with just basic stuff. Does what the people do make sense?
Right.
So, or are you just taking me on a tour of Disneyland here so you can show me all the cool rides you made?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I guess I've seen a lot. I've had to retroactively apply that to a number of things that I've seen over the last year. That it was oh yeah, so that thing with Josh Brolin that I kind of liked on Netflix with the fucking hole in the ground, whatever it was.
What was that?
We talked about it once. I can't remember what it was, but it's probably one of the more recent things that I've seen. It's called Open Range. I think it's called Open Range. So, or Open Strength. I can't remember. Okay.
Open Range is a Western, isn't it?
That's that good one with Kevin Costner. Yeah. And fat Robert Duvall. He's a little chubby in that one, man. So he's a little bow-legged. I can't remember what it was, but I was kind of excited about it. But then I told you that the ending was just stupid. Okay, it's laugh out loud, completely ridiculously stupid. It's wait a minute, there's ghost Indians running around this place now and stuff. And so, actually listening to that episode that he did, looking back on that, it was you're right. None of this in this last one makes any fucking sense whatsoever. You just need the plot to conclude. Okay? And so rather than actually writing what's my conclusion and writing backwards from there, okay, which I know not everybody does that. So, but, if you're going to actually take me out on a 9-episode series... Yeah. Okay, you'd think that you'd actually think about that before you wrote it. But then I start seeing other things where it's oh shit, I watched that entire series, okay, waiting for that setup. You probably greenlit 3 of these, and then another 5 after that, and so you're going to have to sit here and cram all this shit together. It's fucking sloppy. So...
Well, yeah, and there's 2 parts to that, of course, right? Is, as I spoke to you, right, and again, most of this that I do is via the realm of what is supposed to be unscripted television, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically. Well, if it's unscripted, why do you have 14 fucking producers?
Right.
Right? Yeah. So, and I can't even tell you how many you'd have when you're talking about, oh shit, you guys actually have scripts? So, if you come in there with a television show and you have a writer and they're eventually gonna they're gonna commission you to, again, I'm gonna go back to Jurassic World, okay? 7 credited writers on the screenplay, right?
Yeah.
That means that was, you are talking about like a fucking like fumble, okay?
Yeah.
Where that is a greased ball on a cold day.
Yeah.
And people hold it, they run with it for 5 yards, it squirts out.
Squirts right out.
Some dude tries to add something to it, somebody, and they give it a full revision every time, right? And so what happens there is the writers plus the producers start pulling out a bunch of ideas, and they say, well, need this, lose this, right? And you're stuck with a director and a writer, like they can have another writer come on, right?
Yeah.
And say, we want you to piece these things work, these things don't. You say,
Yeah.
well, the whole motivation for him to do this was from a scrap draft.
Right.
You said he can't be a single father, right?
Right.
But the whole basis of the story is about single fatherhood. Yeah, but it doesn't test. It doesn't work well.
It doesn't
right?
test.
Right? So sometimes they get to it and they say, you just have to end the story, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of it where it's, number one, it's like, yes, there are people who are just fucking untalented, right? That's postmodernism. That's, well, writing could be anything you want it to. It's like, no, you can't. Actually, here's why you can't. Because because you're doing this with these beats, you're using the expectation of these beats to make that work. And so they have to deliver in this way for it to be therapeutic at all, right? What I've been trying to understand more over time is music theory, right?
Why is that?
Because I find it fascinating.
Really?
Yes. I find it fascinating. Like, there was a question I asked myself is like, how is it that this music, like, this is just sound, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not even talking about the lyrics. How is it that I can get an emotional response just from notes, right? I was like, what is the reason? I said, I find this fascinating. And a lot of that has to do with the way that they call it in music, the chords resolve themselves, right? Where if you set up something on like a 1 and then you're going to go to a flat, right? You're like, oh, okay, and that's where they talk about the same way it resolves. Same thing with storytelling. If you don't resolve the music, okay, it doesn't feel therapeutic. It doesn't work. And the same thing goes for storytelling, where if you just throw shit out there and you don't pay it off, right? And you don't know how to set it up and use that, you end up with just bullshit story tactics, right? And then, you're talking about that ending. We just have to have an end.
Yeah. We're out of time.
10 people have done this. 10 people have taken passes at this. And fucking 20 more producers have come in there and said, like, could you make that a single mother? It's like, no, man, it's cast. This is a dude.
No, I've seen that on more and more things. Now, he was actually pretty complimentary of the last Stranger Things. Okay, I was not. All right. And I would actually like adopt some of his criticism towards that too, because it definitely felt like we are heading to an ending that needs to happen because everybody's all over the fucking map. So, what's the most convenient way for us to get everybody together?
Right.
Again, and that's kind of what they went for. And that's why there's like, wow, you drove to Ohio in 3 minutes. Cool. From Area 51. Fucking sweet. So, but it just seems like there is a lot of lazy writing, not just in journalisterism, but also in,
in fiction.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't read that much fiction in a long time. So,
well, if you're watching Stranger Things, that's fiction.
Yeah, that's true.
Counts,
that's
man.
true. Yeah, that counts.
It's the same goddamn storytelling medium.
Yeah.
Just...
So, but I mean, there's some good stuff out there, but still at the same point in time, it's like, he goes over all these movies that I remember so fondly. And it's just like, fuck, man, we had it good.
Well,
there was a lot of good, right? I mean, so you forget all the bullshit ones, all right? Yeah. So although they come up every now and then, it's like, the Last Boy Scout, that was great. So, but
why, when people like The Last Boy Scout, what do they like?
Bruce Willis.
Well, they do. And it's like, okay, I would argue during that movie, he may have been at the peak of his charisma.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was right after Die Hard, so yeah.
Somewhere around there. But when it was he was just charming as shit. It worked. The movie's dumb as hell.
It's very dumb.
But there's a part of it that's, I really like this guy.
Yeah. Last Action Hero is the same way. So.
Last Action Hero is actually a more structurally better movie than I give it credit for. It just sucks.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember, yeah, there were elements of it where it actually did have a coherent story behind it. It was just like we're gonna ride all the rides.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the movie was so on the nose where it's like, well, Schwarzenegger's doing Shakespeare in this movie.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
That if you take that serious, you're like, you've got to be shitting.
Yeah.
Right? But then again, this is at the time period. What is it lampooning? Well, it's lampooning when they had Keanu Reeves doing Shakespeare.
Yeah. Man, see, there's like so many things that from back in that day where you could just kind of expect. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just a point in time where, like, I don't know. We went through a lot of shit. So, like, earlier, like, I mean, you've done some exploration in the 70s.
I have.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating time period for movies.
Yeah, it's got a lot of so there's like gems in there.
A lot of losers in there.
There are a lot of losers in there too. I mean, you're talking about a lot. Or movies that, you know, you can look at them now as like, okay, so this is the natural conclusion to the John Wayne era. You know? So where everybody got sick of that, and so you have to find a way to actually, like, you know, dial this up to 11. And so I'm gonna shoot black people in New York. So
yeah, that's the piece of it. It's like, we're so done with this that the only form of this we'll accept comes from a different country.
Right. Yeah. So, you're just talking about Westerns? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, so I was just talking about, like, the central, like, protector, antagonist, or protagonist, you know, role that, like, came out of the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
And then met its end, you know, in the 70s with Death Wish and stuff like that. So... And then it got subverted by fucking Taxi Driver and Scarface and, you know, all kinds of different... Well, Scarface was like, what, 81, 82?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't like that movie at all.
I don't like it either.
That's it.
So...
I don't know. I don't want to dive into that. But, I mean, look. What I can do is I can take you to a time period where people freaked out because The Last of the Mohicans was too violent.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, in comparison...
Well, he did cut his heart out. Take a bite out of it.
Well, he bit it, but I know he took it out. I know it was in the wrong place.
Right, it did not belong in Magwa's hand.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
And all I know is that Magwa did not... He didn't touch the sides, so he he got it out clean.
Right.
So it's still his turn.
Bolaram.
But yeah, that's that. I can
remember
remember that time period. And yeah, it's weird because yes, there's two things going on at play here that are a bit unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is the film system has... This is the weird thing. This is the history of this that I always forget, right? Is people tend to only look at graphs. They pick a certain time, oftentimes the year that they were born, and presume that the graph starts there.
Right.
Right? And so they look at the output of like film and projects and all these other things, and they say, okay, well, the level of blockbusters is going down, right? They're spending more on individual blockbusters, but there are less of them, okay? They say, well, if you look at this trend, then it's going to be dead. Every theater will be closed by 2026.
Yeah,
right?
That's obviously not true, but
well, yeah, and they say like, well, it's due to, and I've talked about this, it's due to all the other venues,
sure, yeah,
right? But Patrick, I would put this to you, right? If you go back in history, there was a time when movie production dwarfed what we had right now. Do you remember when that was?
The actual number that were put out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, definitely when we were kids. And then, I mean, if you go back to the 50s, they're a fuckload.
And even further back. So if you go back to the studio system...
Right? Oh, they were cranking them out every 6 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying here is... Again, this is what I joke about like fucking those people who's like, oh, music reached perfection in 1976 with the release of right.
Right. Yeah.
You turn around and say, well, music must have been better then. It's like, okay, how about I read you the top 100 and you tell me how many of those songs are quality?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you 95 of those slots are going to be taken up by 70s version of Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you a particular piece of crap called Melanie's Brand New Key. And they're singing about roller skates.
Right.
That's an anachronism right now. The song doesn't work. But that's what I'm saying is people have this tendency to say, oh, well, because here it was like this. Yes, I understand. And they were cranking out movies like fucking crazy. How many of those really even made it into like modern vernacular? Because this is dog shit.
Like 10% of them. So,
if that.
Yeah, if
lucky.
that.
Lucky.
I mean, and you're talking about like collaboration kind of things, or you have your few like real bedrock stars that are in the studio system at the time, but they only do like 2 or 3 productions a year, as opposed towards like the milieu of guys that they had.
Yes.
Who, when acting was a 9-to-5 job. You better be here on Friday, bitch. So you get your coffee before you punch in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we talk about it, like, we can talk about those highlights of like the 80s and stuff. One of the things that we always forget here is that, shit, dude, we're there in the realm of VHS.
I remember that when you still had, like in the stores, you had the VHS and the Betamax versions on top of each other. So, and like there would be your quote unquote new releases, your direct to actual tape movies.
Yes.
Or the ones that bombed so bad in the theater that they tried to get it on tape immediately. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where like every week you'd walk into the video store over here and then later Blockbuster. You had to walk through all the new releases to get to everything else. So because they wanted you to pick one up. So, and it was just like so much crap over the years.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is we lived in the era where direct to video became a thing.
It was a thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So like Puppet Master 1 went to the theaters, but Puppet Master 2 through 9 did not.
Nope. Yep. Same thing with Candyman.
So there's this thing like, man, movies were better than it's like, no, man, no, don't do this, man. Don't
you need to
pretend.
watch all the versions of Critters.
1 and 2 went to theaters. 3 and 4,
not so much. Yeah.
So like I get it, and there's this like, let's watch this, and yes, it's a different version of that. So I would say that right now the direct-to-video market is
Netflix.
It's
Amazon,
huge, right?
Yeah.
And it's because the distribution method is so much easier, right?
Well, and it's so much more scalable too, man.
Yeah.
So
more profitable.
Yeah. It's a lot more profitable. There's a lot more margin in it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to share distribution with like video chains and
But what that means is it also means that your good writers are stretched thinner than ever before.
Yeah, you don't even know where to find them, man. So there's a few here and there, but like, and then they get banged on because it's like, oh, you did great on this project. We want our 3rd version of Breaking Bad now. And it's like, man, no. You need to pass that off on somebody else. Just let it rest. So
that's my question. How much risk are you going to take when it comes to doing the 9th season and 2nd iteration of The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I
right?
know. Yeah, you're not taking any risk. You've got your audience built up. You've got your subscriber count, quote unquote, and so you're just gonna bang on them. Actually, that's kind of how it works, isn't it?
Well,
if you think about it.
Right now, that's the problem that I have is, if you want to do this, go ahead. But right now, what they're doing is they're saying like, hey, we know how old our target audience is. It's like, yeah. It's like, so we're going to take all those properties that you liked in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
And we're going to assume that we have a baked-in audience for these things, right? And we're going to go ahead and put... It's like that fucking bug from, wearing, Vincent D'Onofrio's skin in Men in Black, where it's like, yes, this looks like the farmer that you know, but there's actually a giant cockroach inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sugar.
Exactly. So when you're talking about, oh man, what did they do to Star Wars? Well, shit, it's the same thing that you did to every other property.
Yeah,
It's the same shit that you did to Ghostbusters. It's the same thing that...
Oh, man, I watched his takedown of Ghostbusters. So...
He's even meaner than I am.
Yeah, he is. So, and I remember you saw that one.
Oh, I was...
And you came back a different man.
I was
from the theater.
Yeah,
you came back a different man from the theater. So...
Oh, I didn't see that shit in the theater. No, I did not.
Whenever you saw it, man, I remember you needed to talk about it the next time. So...
Yeah, because what's his name? It's a water lawyer. I feel like we gave Ryan an Indian name.
I don't think so. No.
Didn't we? Okay.
Water
So it's
wizard.
not- yeah.
He was your water wizard. I can't remember.
Does legal with rivers, you know, or whatever.
Just give him an avatar name. Yeah, litigates with rivers. Hey man,
No,
he's
we'll
probably
be
one of our
like,
2
yeah.
fucking subscribers. We gotta be nice to him,
yeah.
Motherfuckers, I'll subscribe right now.
Yeah, but yeah, he had seen it, and we were both just like teeing off. And
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah,
yeah. There's another 2016ism. I think that was 2016, wasn't it?
It absolutely was.
Well, yeah, it's in the title, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, it's just called. The movie is actually called Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
Oh, okay. But everybody calls it 2016.
Yeah, because it's sort of like, you know, you have to differentiate it somehow. And then I guess the new version, the way we corrected it was like, well, this is Ghostbusters but Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because they just glommed onto another popular property and
Yeah. That guy said it was so like the Ghostbusters 2016 had all the cameos in it. So
yeah.
he said that they had to basically drag Bill Murray into the studio to do that because he did not want to. So do you know the story behind that?
I don't.
Okay.
I there's this video of him like saying it's almost like they're holding his family hostage where he's on TV saying like, yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't actually think it was funny, guys. That's
right. So he's just shaking his head the entire time.
Yeah, it is. Like you can see.
This is so fucking funny. I'm so happy to fucking do this right now. Yeah. Vigorously shaking his.
And it is. Yeah, there's some like. There's some cholo in fucking Costa Rica with a knife to his children's necks.
Right. He's got a little flip phone. Yeah.
But yeah, and you could just see there's like no color in his eyes. He looks pale. It's like he's been worried about this for weeks.
Right.
But yeah, that's the tough thing is, and I understand that this is partially how they went after my dad's generation, right? When they started remaking things, when they started doing stuff like that, because like I'm sure the people that were watching like the James Garner Maverick, you know, from back in the day, they were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Who is this Mel Gibson? You know, and stuff like that. But, you know.
James Garner, wow.
Well, James Garner's kind of awesome.
Yeah, he's always been awesome.
But, you know, I'm sure there was some part of them that were like, stop reskinning the stuff that I was into.
Yeah.
For whatever. So I get it. You can look at the numbers.
So you got to be careful with that though, man, because there's a cautionary tale in there about reskinning things to the point in time where they become irrelevant. So, you know, like all Westerns, you know, like there's a reason why Clint Eastwood hung on to that one for like 20 years because he was like, this, I'm not going to let this one get remade. But everything else, like 310 to Yuma and all the new ones are shit compared to the original ones.
I would agree. As a matter of fact, the other day we were talking about Russel Crowe, and I was thinking about the first place I saw him. You said L.A. Confidential. I'm not sure. The place I remember him was from a dog shit movie called The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, that's not a dog shit movie, man.
It's not great,
That is Gene Hackman at his most menacing.
He's at his Gene Hackmaniest.
Yes, that's correct. Well, I don't know. I'd say Crimson Tide when he was at his Gene Hackmanist.
Well, actually, I say his Hackmaniest is Superman, but that's
okay. Yeah,
but that's for like they asked him to do that.
Yeah, but that's like Poseidon Gene Hackman. It's different era, man.
Russell Crowe's in that, and I don't know if that actually predates LA Confidential.
I almost guarantee you it does because Leonardo DiCaprio looks like he's 12 in that movie. You forget
he's growing pains.
He's growing pains. Yeah. I mean, see, that's the one thing about that movie that a lot of people forget is that there were actually some pretty high dollar talent, but they were cheap at that point in time.
Right.
So because like the two people in it that you knew were Gene Hackman and Sharon Stone.
Right.
At the time.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, it's a guy from Growing Pains. Sweet. And it was like, who's this Australian guy? And there's another one in that movie. It's your favorite guy. Fuck.
Bill Paxton?
No,
because he's my favorite.
No. Fucking guy from Pumpkinhead is in that.
Pumpkinhead?
Yeah. Is it Hendrickson?
Oh, Lance Hendrickson.
Lance Hendrickson. Yeah. So, and then there's one more who's in that. He gets killed early. I can't remember. So, it's not Ernie Hudson. It's it might be Ving Rhames. I'm not. Oh, I don't think it is. So,
I don't think it is either.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I just remembered it. I was like, oh no, I've seen that guy. I remember. Yeah.
Oh fuck. I can see his face. It's not Ving Rhames. It's shit.
Just say Mr. T. It's fine.
It's not Mr. T. So, I'm not taking a look at all the black actors from the 1990s that I remember. So I can see his fucking face. So, oh well.
No, and that's the thing. You're not just like throwing it out there. It's not fucking Mario Van Peebles or anything like that. It's not, obviously Arsenio Hall or.
It's not Arsenio Hall. It's not MC Hammer. So,
it's not Danny Glover.
It's not Danny Glover.
It's not Eddie Murphy.
It's not Eddie Murphy. Man, you're ticking almost all of them off the list here. So,
I know.
Yeah.
I know, because if it were the easy ones, you'd have gotten it by now.
It is an easy one.
It's not Louis Gossett Jr.
It's not Louis Gossett Jr. So it wasn't Bill Cosby.
The problem is, who else is there? Yeah, and it wasn't like Denzel Washington.
No, it's not Apollo Creed.
It's called him Apollo Creed. That's not his name.
I know.
Yeah, it's not Carl Weathers. It's not.
It's Carl Weathers. It is Carl Weathers. No,
because that would be Apollo Creed. That's not him.
It's not Carl Weathers. It's Keith David. There we go. It's Keith David. Keith David's in that movie. So he plays the gunslinger that the town hires to kill Gene Hackman, and he blows a very bad CGI hole right through his head. So in fact, I don't think it's CGI. I think it's fucking Jello. Yeah, no, it's right in the middle of the forehead.
Okay. Somebody gets blasted in the eye, if I recall, in that movie.
I think that's
he calls it.
That's Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm going to do this to you. And,
yeah. That's Lance Hendrickson. Yeah. So the other guy gets shot right between the eyes.
Yeah.
After he's got that gun on the swivel. Sorry, man. I like that movie. I thought it was
fine.
Fun.
I just don't remember it being great.
It's not great.
I was like, I was just trying to think if there had been any place that I saw Russell Crowe before LA Confidential. I was like,
yeah, Quick and the Dead.
Did that come out before then?
I'm pretty sure it did. That might actually be his American debut.
You could be right.
Yeah.
And you know what? There could be some weird ass fucking Australian movie that wormed its way to America after he became Russell Crowe.
It's possible.
These things happen.
Oh, kind of like Mel Gibson and Gallipoli. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I saw a picture of that dude the other day. He's looking a little rough, man.
He's old, man.
I get it, but
he's to do that.
I get it, but he's gone like crazy old, man.
Like Ed Harris old?
No. Ed Harris looks old, you know? So, like, leatherly, like, kind of, I mean, impervious to sun old. No,
I get it. Ed Harris is like a cautionary tale about why you put Thompson's water seal on your deck.
Well, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is a cautionary tale as to why you don't drink that shit.
Yeah, that's true, man. You go through this weird phase where it's like, you said what about juice? Like,
Yeah.
stop talking about this. Like, keep trying to change the subject, and you just.
Yeah, so he's looking particularly crazy. So. Oh man, I don't know.
Nothing against Mel Gibson
man.
either. Yeah, yeah.
No. Oh man.
You want to call it here?
I think I don't think I can top that, man. So
Yeah.
we're at $1.19 or $1.20. So I think we'll give the audience 10 minutes off. Time for good behavior. So
All right,
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we came full circle because we were like grousing earlier on. So
Yeah, okay.
Patrick, who are you?
I am Pat.
No way.
Who are
Tell
you?
me more.
That's
You're not
all
just Patrick. Give me an attribute about yourself as you don't know.
I'm not growing my hair back. It's just not coming back. I don't know what's the adjective for that. It's time to shave it again. Yeah, it's time to go bald.
no, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm middle aged. And all the afflictions that come with it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I'm Jeffrey, and it's getting harder to get out of bed every morning.
Yeah, we'll leave him to it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, let's fight in the comments.
So go in the comments. Tell Pat he was wrong.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tell me I was wrong.
Yeah.
So declare your team.
Yeah.
All right. Hitting the button.